No one can be sure of what the future will be.
Who do I actually marry?
You will marry a boy I choose.
This is a very, very important question.
I don't think I ever want to get married.
Hi everyone, this is Silesh Ram, AsianCultureVulture.com. I'm with the brilliant Namit who plays Haresh Khanna.
It's great to be here.
Danesh Razvi, who plays Kabir Durrani.
Thank you for having me.
Mikhail Sen, who plays the character Amit Chatterji in Mira Nair's A Suitable Boyy. Welcome, Mikhail. How are you doing?
Yeah, pretty good.
Tell us about Amit Chatterji. He's a really interesting character, very charming, a bit intellectual.
He is an enigmatic character, actually. He's writing, I mean, as you've been told, the longest novel. That's a bit of an inside joke in the show, known to man. And he's just met Lata, who is like a breath of fresh air. He's never met someone like her before, and I think he's just so taken by her and her innocence and the world that she embodies, which is so different from that, pretentious Calcutta world that you're witnessing. It was very much a world that I knew because I'm half Bengali. My grandparents are Bengali, and so is Amit. And so I resonated hugely with that sort of Calcutta world, if you will. And I grew up in India as well, so I was very familiar. What Mira and I did try to really craft together was that complex character who's at one level very taken by Lata, but at another level is fighting something, I think, within himself. And at the same time, he's writing this book and he's struggling with writer's block and all of this other stuff.
I know that. Yeah. He's essentially a nice guy, especially at the beginning. You kind of see all the good sides.
I see you're interested in mathematics and poetry.
And like many relationships in some ways, when you get to know a person a bit better, things don't...
The bad stuff comes out.
Yeah, and you think, and it's very kind of realistic in that way. And he's a very rounded character.
He's a chip on his shoulder, like, okay, I am Kabir Durrani. How can she say no to me?
Right.
But he's also not a complete ass about it.
May I ask your name?
Lata.
Aren't you going to ask me mine?
Mira reinforced that again and again while we were shooting also, that she called it ghaman, which is in Hindi, which translates kind of loosely to ego.
Yeah.
But not in the bad sense of it.
Kabir obviously has that angle of the true love angle with Lata. Amit has obviously his writing and those lines.
Indeed.
Poetry.
Yeah.
What does Haresh Khanna have? He's a business guy, right? He can come across as someone really boring and very plain. I think Haresh Khanna stands for hope.
Yeah.
And he stands for the newness of this nation.
Yeah.
And the fact that that we could have taken any challenge at that point of time.
Right.
And I go back to the beautiful scene, which is also beautifully written in the book as well, which is just a glimpse of him on the platform. Where Lata doesn't even know whether she has seen him or not seen him. And he's also not very sure of who he saw.
Right.
But it's that hope.
Yeah.
The book, I love it so much. I was so excited to be just part of this story. It's one of my favorite books. I started it in 2000 and I was finally able to finish it in 2015. It's a big book. It's a long book. And I remember very clearly finishing the book, reading the last page and telling my wife that, if a series were to be made on this, there's only one person who can play Haresh Khanna, because that's me. Then this news was thrown at me that Mira was going to be directing The Suitable Boyy, A Suitable Boyy for BBC. Your Haresh Khanna is here. And then I kept testing for it, and finally it was after, I think, 9 or 10 months that I auditioned for it the third or the fourth time, when Mira came to me and she hugged me and she said, "You are my Haresh Khanna."
Wow. I find him very endearing because he's obviously a very ambitious guy. He's got a lot of energy about him in terms of what he wants to do with his life, and he's quite focused. Are you like that in your work and your career?
Yes, I am. I am that guy. I am that guy who started off like from he's started from the grassroots level. I mean, I started my career as a production boy. I was working for the theater, and I knew that one day I was going to end up on stage.
Tell me, why haven't we met before?
It does feel, really special because the book was given to me on my 15th birthday by my grandparents.
Oh my God.
And the inscription was to our suitable boy. And it was quite, it was almost like full circle destiny, some other kind of force at play.
Were you very taken by the story when you read it? Did you read it then or later, or how
So I was quite young. I actually, and if you look at the book, it's a real door stopper. So I think I was put off just till I was about 22, 23.
Oh, okay.
I had never read it. I had the script and the book. I had read the script.
Right.
I had 2 weeks before we started rehearsing stuff. I couldn't go through the book. So what I did was I went through Kabir's storyline in the book.
Right.
Because in my mind it was that if I am Kabir, I don't know what's happening with Lata outside of when she's interacting with me.
Right.
So that's how I used that to my advantage to get into character.
I mean, I owe so much to Mira. I mean, just the fact that I got to work with Mira Nair is a gift that I will always be grateful for. I feel like I've grown, 100-fold just as a person and as an actor. I think we worked on Amit together. He's definitely struggling with something, and Mira and I talked about it without spelling it out for the audience. I think Mira was very clear that we didn't want to do that.
I am new to this scale of it and this intensity. So to be very honest, we even had a discussion where she came to me and she spoke to me. She took me to a room. She showed me some playback of some footage and she said, "You look very green here."
Right.
Which is like the nomenclature for saying that you look like you don't know what you're doing in some of the scenes.
Right.
So she did carry me through the whole thing. So I have to give her credit for that. And she's tough, but in the best way. She knows what she wants. She has a brilliant eye for it, and she's not going to let go. So you have to step it up also.
Well, it's a great grounding you've got there now.
Masterclass with her.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
I learned a lot from Namit,
right,
from Haresh, and even from Mikhail. We spent a lot of time together. The set was basically, after a while, it was like one big family. So
right.
I'm good friends with almost everyone on the cast.
Did you get a chance to talk to Vikram Seth about the character?
I did. I actually got a chance. Also, Mira, she said that, when Vikram was writing the book, he designed Haresh Khanna keeping his father in mind.
Right.
So these were some personal cues that I actually got not only from Vikram, but also the books that I was reading at that point of time.
Right.
Like his mother's autobiography really helped me a lot.
Right.
And their life and what his father was like. And there was a documentary which I saw, and I actually kept seeing it, and I kept seeing the parts where his father came up.
Yeah.
And I tried to not mimic exactly,
kind of embody,
but at least but get his father's persona into it.
Mira did say one thing when we first, sort of met after I'd got the part. She said, "I want you to spend time with Vikram," because Vikram, in some senses, though Vikram wouldn't want me to say that he's exactly like Amit or Amit is exactly like him.
Sure, yes.
There are little elements that are very, very similar.
Right.
And Vikram would say that there's, elements of himself in all of the characters.
Of course,
So I wasn't trying to play Vikram at all, and he didn't want that. But I did wind up spending a lot of time with him, thanks to Mira and thanks to Vikram, on set. And that was very, very valuable.
Both Namit and Mikhail were saying they had some time with Vikram Seth to talk about the characters. I don't know whether you similarly shared any time with him to talk about Kabir.
No, I actually, unfortunately, I wanted to, but I didn't get any. I didn't get a chance or a situation. The way the shooting schedule worked, I started shooting first, so I didn't have much time to confer with him about it.
Right.
So I used the book because that's his words anyway.
Sure.
So not as much time as I would have liked.
What do you want viewers to take? Both the good and the bad from Kabir and his situation?
there's a level of absurdity that it's been 70 plus years and we still have the same conversations. We still have the same problems about the Hindu-Muslim thing.
Right.
So from the situation, I want viewers to take that there's more than goes on than just like you're born a Hindu, you're born a Muslim, so you can never make a life together. So I didn't grow up with that. I am a Muslim.
Yeah.
And my father is a Muslim who married someone out of the community also. So I never grew up with that sort of pressure that it has to be. But I've seen it in people my age. I've had so many conversations about it. I want people to be able to see the idiocy of that statement in this day and age because it's redundant now.
I've never seen Amit like this with a girl before.
His father and his mum don't really appreciate the fact that he is a writer because there's no money in that. And he is Oxford educated and he did sort of get a degree in law, which he just threw out the window. What I would want the viewers to sort of understand that space and the character where he's so conflicted because at one level there's family and pressure there and there's pressure to get married as well, you know, and there's also him having to write this book, which he's really obsessed with, I think, and he's in the throes of that, and then he's found love and what he thinks is love, and he's figuring it all out. Yeah. So I think I would love the viewers to get a sense of that conflict between the public and the private that Amit Chatterji presents.
What I find interesting about him is he seems to represent a kind of new India, sort of dynamic character who's very keen to get on, leave the past behind, you know, that whole thing with empire and subjugation, and now this is Indians and independent India, and he's very refreshing in that way.
Yes, absolutely. I think that is a very good reading of what Haresh Khanna stands for in Suitable Boy. We can never forget the fact that, you know, the country is only 5 years old in the book. Yeah. And we are still coming out of the British Raj, and he's the go-getter. He's that guy who's studied in England, but he's come back to India with a promise that he wants to give something back to this new country.
I won't give up until I found my Lata suitable boy.
A Suitable Boy on BBC One and iPlayer.